Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Ric Wesley Show. I'm DJ Foster, joined by Grand Valley State head men's basketball coach Ric Wesley. Coach, thanks for joining us today.
Nice to be here.
It was an end of a long stretch for you. 4 games in 8 days. You played 3 games in 5 days last week. You went 2-1 overall in those 3 games. So now you're 12-9 this season. 8-6 in the GLIAC play. It was nice to get back home, get a couple wins under your belt. But before you came back home, you went to Cedarville last Tuesday to play a Cedarville team that ended up, they were a hot shooting team that night. They were only up by a couple at halftime, but then they ended up shooting 52% from the game, 10 of 20 from a three-point range. It kind of pulled away at the end. Final score 71-58. Talk about the loss to Cedarville.
Well, obviously it was a tough night. They've got a very good team. They've played many of the top Division II teams in the country this year. They went to Nevada, had a game there. Got a lot of guys back, excellent perimeter shooters, good frontline athletes, nice atmosphere. So we knew it was going to be a tough game. We were very impressed with them on film. For the most part, we played pretty well in the game. Certainly for the first half, we played well. And then midway through that second half, they knocked in a barrage of threes, and that sort of was the game. But, I thought we learned some things about our guys. I thought there were some things that happened in the game that could help us as we move forward. In that game, Nick Waddell had a very strong offensive game. I thought Ryan Saban continued to be more aggressive in that game. I thought Breland did a pretty good job of distributing the ball. So there were some real positives that we talked about coming out of the game. And it sort of did carry over to the other games. So it's a little bit different. Normally a non-conference game you'd play earlier in the year. This one being in late January, February, it makes it a little bit awkward. But nevertheless, we got out of there, came back home, and got ready to get back into conference play.
Right, as you said, Cedarville 8 of 11 from three-point range in the second half kind of was the story there. But you come home and you play a Saginaw Valley State team who you beat earlier in the season, and you took care of them again. You're led by as many as 22 points. You win 75-56. A couple of great efforts. As you said, Nick Waddell started playing better the past few games, and he had 26 points and 10 boards, a career high in scoring for him. Ryan Saban also had a career high with 18 points off the bench, and then James Thomas tossed in 15 points and 6 boards. So you were led by those 3 guys that combined for 59 points. Yeah,
a lot of guys played well. Obviously, Nick had it was career night, but man, he was on fire. He couldn't miss, and everything he threw up there went in. I think it kind of carried over from the game earlier in the week. Ryan Saban, who we took out of the starting lineup, definitely I thought played more relaxed, a little more aggressive, and he really kind of got it going too. Probably had his best, one of the best games certainly of his career. JT continued with his fine offensive production, and so it was definitely a team effort. I thought Breland played very well, even though he didn't score. I think he had 7 assists and got everybody involved in the offense. Tony Peters came in late, even though he had started, came off the bench late at a key time when the game sort of had turned away from us for a second there, and made a good basket, good driving to the basket, and hit a big 3. So, a lot of guys played well. Tyrone Lee continued his good play in terms of defense and rebounding. So a lot of good things happened, which is what you need anytime you're trying to win a conference game.
Yeah, as you said, Breland with 7 assists, only 1 turnover, so a great night for him, even though he didn't get in the scorebook. And a special note, Nick Waddell, when he has a double-double, you're 5-0 this season. So
you should do that every night.
There you go. It's a winning formula right there. Lake Superior State was here on Saturday afternoon. They had, as you said, I think the word you used was humiliated you guys up there earlier in the year. They beat you by, I think, a dozen points up there, but this time you come back and you get them 75-63. 4 guys in double figures for you, led by James Thomas, 18 points, 9 rebounds. Breland, another good performance, 13 points, 6 assists. He had just 2 turnovers in this game. It was a game that you shot the ball well again, and then you closed it out late with some free throws and got another good home victory. Yeah,
their team matches up pretty well with us. It's a tough group they've got. Certainly Billings is one of the top guards in the conference now. Kinney's a really difficult matchup. We probably, well, not probably, we did get a break. Kyle Hunt was a little under the weather with the flu, so his minutes were really, really reduced. He only played, I think, 5 or 6 minutes in the game. We got a break from that aspect, but again, I thought our guys played pretty well. We were disappointed. Our game up there at their place was certainly one of our poorer performances of the year. and we wanted to redeem ourselves. And I thought we came out with a lot more energy, a lot more toughness, executed better. We played pretty well for the most part, and yet it still was a nip and tuck game until we got in the second half, and then we got the run that kind of broke the game open and ultimately led to the victory.
Last week, especially the two games against Saginaw Valley State and Lake Superior State, you really relied on your seniors, James Thomas and Nick Waddell. Both guys played very well. Nick with the double-double on Thursday night. James just missed the double-double on Saturday, just one rebound shy. Talk about what they've brought to the team this season.
Well, obviously they're two of our better players, and certainly two of our better offensive players. And when they score the ball well and are working well within the offense, we're that much better of a team. And JT's pretty much each and every night, he's done that. He leads our team in shot attempts, and we're doing all we can to help him get more shot attempts. And then Nick, when he's focused and really tuned in, he's certainly shown on any given night he's one of the better post offensive players in our conference. So never a surprise when they play well. Always a disappointment if they don't, but they seem to be in a nice place right now, and coming down the stretch, it couldn't happen at a better time.
Those two games were the first two games of a 4-game homestand. So you got 4 straight at home. You finish out the homestand here with Ashland and Lake Erie this week. You play Ashland Thursday at 8 p.m. They're 13-8 overall. They're tied with you guys at 8-6 in the conference. They bring in one of the best players in the league in Evan Yates. He's a forward who leads the league in scoring, rebounding, and field goal percentage. And then Lake Erie comes in on Saturday at 3 p.m. Lake Erie's 8-12 overall, 3-10 in the GLIAC. But they played you well last year, I remember, when we were on the road at their place. Talk about the two Ohio schools coming in this weekend.
Well, it's just another tough week. It never gets any easier. Both teams are good teams. We're certainly not the type of team that can just show up and think we can beat anybody. These teams have had good success this season. Certainly Ashland's right there with us in the conference standings. Their big post player, Yates, is he's a big monster in there. He can really score around the basket. He's quite a bit like Justin Keenan was last year, in that even when he doesn't score, he draws fouls, and often does both, draws foul and scores. So, certainly he is a key part to their success and will be a big challenge for us. And then, as we say each and every week, the best way to get ready for our Saturday game is to play well on Thursday. So, our focus is going to be get ready for that game Thursday, hopefully play well, and then take some momentum into Saturday's game.
Ashland this Thursday at 8 p.m., Lake Erie at 3 p.m. on Saturday, both home games here in the Fieldhouse Arena. So coming out and support your Lakers. Rick, thanks for joining us, and best of luck.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for watching the Ric Wesley Show here on the Grand Valley Sports Network.